It's for, all right, great. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You all are part of a first time webinar. We have never done this webinar before, just so you know. So if we look like we've never done this webinar before, it's because we have not. We've done many webinars, uh, myself and my colleagues, but this is a really exciting first time opportunity. We are joined by an absolute immigration wizard in Sabrina Guzzi. I am going to introduce my colleagues. This is a great opportunity. Hi, everyone. If you're joining late, no worries. Just file in, and I'm recording this. So welcome. Um, we are in spring, and we are delighted to talk to you today. I am going to actually jump to this slide first to introduce, and I'll start with our amazing immigration wizard, Sabrina Guzzi. Over to you. Would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Sure. I'm Sabrina. Nice to meet you all. I'm the Immigration Services Manager here at InSpring. And basically, my role is to make sure our immigration strategy is sound, educate all of our candidates and our clients on the U.S. immigration system, and just make sure everyone's immigration process goes smoothly. Yeah. And I'm happy to be here. Nice to meet you all.
Thanks, Sabrina. She's being modest. We had to lure Sabrina away from a major law firm. She's really brilliant, and she just cares so much about all of you and your immigration journey. Well, she's going to be talking in a bit. So thanks, Sabrina. Over to you, Hector, the guru of marketing, the guru of enrollment. Hector, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you, Eric. Hi, everyone. This is Hector. I'm based in West Palm Beach, Florida. I'm the Senior Enrollment Manager at InSpring. We're super excited to have you. So thank you again.
Thanks, Hector. All right, so you have the locations of Los Angeles. I'm in LA, Sabrina is in LA, and Hector's in Miami. We are covering the country right now, and we have colleagues all over the country and the world. So we're delighted to talk to you. I know that you are a United States audience today, predominantly, and anyone that you are thinking of for this webinar is definitely an F1 student, meaning you have studied in the US or you're currently studying in the US. So this is a really privileged audience. We're so excited to talk to you. Our team, just to give you an idea of what we do, who are we at InSpring? The whole idea is, how do we get you from a Zoom webinar to truly changing your career and your degree and getting that dream job? That's what this is all about. It's not just about a Zoom webinar, some corporate exercise where we tick a box and we tell, oh, look what we did, a webinar. This is really about you and your future, everyone joining this call. And we're very serious about that. All of us at InSpring come from different backgrounds, but one thing we all share is our love and our care for each of you as international students in the United States. And we want to make sure that you're successful. And I forgot to even introduce who the heck I am. My name is Eric. You can see I'm the Vice President of Recruitment. I've devoted my whole career to working with international students, having the best possible educational experience in the US. And that's what we all share, is that devotion to you. So thanks for joining. This is very true. I know it looks cheesy. I know you might say, "Oh, it's cheese ball." No, but this is really true. This is a moment for all of you that are studying in the United States on an F1 visa to take a step back and evaluate what's next, what's coming next. What do you want to do? Do you want to, do another degree? Do you want to do another level of degree? What kind of job do you want? This is the opportunity to work with a true expert in Sabrina, and we're going to talk about this today on what are your options going from your current degree, whatever level, wherever you are. How do you stay in the United States? And then how do you get the best possible job? That's what this is all about. Now, the vehicle through which we do that right now is a nursing degree. We currently are working with many different educational opportunities, different universities, but Sabrina is going to talk today in a bit. I'm going to hand it over to her on why is nursing such a powerful vehicle through which you're able to have more OPT, extend OPT, have the option to stay in the United States and get that dream job. So what are the two things that we do at InSpring? as it relates to you in this audience. We know you are an F1 student, or maybe you are the parent of an F1 student, or maybe you're the sibling or relative, or you know people who are F1 students. Please feel free to tell everyone about this opportunity. We'd love everyone. Hi, I think we have people trickling in late. Great. You missed some good jokes. Sorry, we told some funny jokes in the beginning. No, we recorded this, so don't worry. I'll be able to send this to you early, but you're not late. What do we do at InSpring? We do really two things as it relates to this audience speaking with us today. One, we prepare you for a bachelor's degree in nursing. Okay, that's the first part. The second part is we take you from that bachelor's degree in nursing and we help you get your American dream job. Those are the two things we do. Hector, nor Sabrina, nor myself take $1 from you in this whole process, meaning we will never charge you personally for our services. We are very transparent about that. We don't have a service fee. We're not an agency. You're never working for us. We are guiding you every step of the way. Our services are free throughout your entire journey. Yes, there is money involved, but you're never paying us. You're paying the government. You're paying a university, these sort of things. We don't collect any fees. So if you're wondering, are we like a weird agency? No, we're guiding you the whole time. You're never working for us. We do direct, permanent job placement, and Sabrina's going to talk about that. So without further ado, with my terrible French accent, I will pass this over to our immigration wizard, Sabrina Guzzi.
Thanks, Eric. All right, so since all of you guys are already F1 students, I'm assuming that you know what OPT is, optional practical training, but just a little refresher. OPT, basically you're allowed to work for 1 year after you graduate following your studies, and it has to relate to your program of study. Some of you might already be doing OPT. I don't know everyone's situation, but it's pretty straightforward. And additionally, nursing is not STEM right now, but STEM majors get 2 extra years of STEM OPT. And an exciting thing that InSpring is also doing is we're trying to make nursing STEM. Most people are shocked when we say that because it is, very clearly STEM, but it isn't. So we're working on making it STEM and hopefully getting everyone 2 more years of STEM OPT. And basically how you apply for OPT, if you haven't already, is you have to apply via the form I-765 to get your EAD, and you don't need an employer, to apply for OPT. You can do this up to 60 days before your program end date, and just general advice, always submit your application as soon as possible at that 60-day mark, because the processing times are around 3 months right now. So always do it, the earlier the better in immigration. And the key point of this slide is the OPT degree role. So for example, if you're currently a master's student, you did your undergrad in a different country, you came to the US, you're doing your master's program, and you used your 1 year of OPT, you can still take a degree at the bachelor's level, for example, an BSN program, and still qualify for a year of OPT at the bachelor's level. So you do get one OPT slot for each degree level. So associates, bachelor's, master's, and then PhD. So that's just a little refresher, so everyone knows.
Next slide.
Yes, please.
Okay.
All right, and if you haven't ever done this, transferring to a new program, so if you guys are the ones that are, currently in a program or you're finishing up your OPT, as long as your CVIS record is active, transferring to a new school or to a new program like an ABSN program is really easy. All you have to do is get admitted into school, ask your current DSO for a transfer I-20 to submit the request, receive the transfer I-20 from your new school, and then you receive your active I-20 once you pay all the fees, register for your classes. It's a really easy process. You never have to lose your F1 status, which is great. And that's the great thing. You guys are already here. So you guys finished the hard part of, going to the visa interview and everything. So that's great news for you guys. Next slide, please. And I just want to go over the process, how you go from F1 to H1B as a nurse. Some of you might know that, the visa bulletin, which tells you who's allowed to apply for a green card every month. The visa bulletin is in retrogression. So traditionally nurses from abroad or, in the US, they would be able to apply for EB3 green card. And basically they're allowed to do that no matter what without the perm process, because they are considered a Schedule A occupation, meaning that, they're in the US, we really need a lot of nurses. So hopefully you guys can help, curb that. And basically what we figured out is since green card is a no-go, H-1B is the way. So essentially the process is you go to school, you graduate, you apply for your OPT, like I mentioned, you get your EAD. And then after you graduate, you have to complete your licensure. So that's like NCLEX, getting your state license. There's a lot of other things in between. And once that is all done, you can start working as a nurse. And during that process, we'll be applying, well, not us, but your employer will be applying for H-1B for you via our legal team. So it's a pretty easy process. Traditionally, H-1B is not used for nursing, but there was, like a memo release that said H-1B can apply to nurses. And basically the key to that is H-1B is a specialty occupation visa. And as long as, your H-1B application doesn't say nurse, you're good. And usually it doesn't. You're either an emergency room nurse or, NICU, whatever the case is. So yes, this is our strategy and it's pretty straightforward. And the good news is that your employer files your H-1B for you. You don't have to do anything. We're there to help. We mediate the whole process. So it's pretty laid back for you guys. But yeah, that's the process. And I'll hand it back over to Eric.
Thanks a lot.
And you can leave your questions to the end and we can
Yeah.
talk about immigration. I still want to confuse everyone. So thank you.
I actually, Sabrina, thank you so much. Hector, do you mind putting in the chat as well, just so everyone sees where they can message
Yeah.
us their questions that way? Please, thank you.
Oh yeah, and I could do this slide too, but
Yeah,
this
I was thinking,
first,
Sabrina, this is a good
yeah.
continuation slide. If you could
Yeah,
explain.
basically the top line where you see to EB3, that's like the traditional path. But as you can see, it bridges options before priority date current, the second, like the last arrow. And basically the strategy is, during your H-1B, your employer, depending on what they agreed to, 6 months after a year, they'll at least start the green card process for you, which is filing the I-140, which gives you a place in line. And even when you do that, you're still probably gonna have to wait 2 years with how the visa bulletin is going. So usually that's the path, but now we have to do H-1B to bridge to get your green card. And as you can see, it's basically what I described. H-1B is valid for 6 years and then extendable every 3 years, you have to extend it. But once you have that I-140 filed, you can extend your H-1B indefinitely until you're 100 years old if you want to, if you never become current under the visa bulletin. So that's a positive thing, you're safe work authorization wise. And if you're lucky enough to be from Mexico or Canada, you can apply for the TN visa. That's super easy. And also the H-1B one for if you're from Chile or Singapore, it's a very easy process. It's basically a work authorization as well, but just a little shorter, but you can keep extending it indefinitely. So yeah, but if you're not from those countries, unfortunately, H-1B is the only path. Yeah,
Thanks, Sabrina.
no problem.
So I want to reiterate for everyone who's joined, if you joined late, we have this amazing opportunity. Sabrina is on the InSpring team. We're really lucky to have her. She won't say this, but she comes from a seriously high-powered law firm. She knows all the law, she knows all the rules and regulations in and out, but she's a fierce advocate for people. And Sabrina's advice and guidance is completely free of charge. We are here to guide you on each of your cases free of charge. There is no catch. There's no invoice we send you later. All of us on this webinar, and Sabrina especially, we are here for you. So I encourage all of you, whether it's on this webinar, please in the Q&A, ask your questions, or if it's in the chat where Hector, just awesome. So Irene, no worries, Irene. I'm gonna send you a recording. And if you can't make class, if you can't stay, we'll send you the recording. Don't worry, we'll do this again. So for all of you to know, we're here to guide each of you, and we're free. So I see James, you have your hand raised. Hey James, I know you. Awesome. I'm glad you joined the webinar. So we'll do more Q&A at the end, but please, if you can, James, write your question in the Q&A, and then we'll get to it at the end. I promise we're going to leave plenty of time. Irene, good luck in class. Make sure you study hard, okay? All right, so let's go back to why nursing from a kind of employment perspective or salary perspective. I think, Sabrina already outlined nursing is considered skilled labor. So you have the kind of immigration part to your advantage if you are studying to be a nurse and you get your bachelor's degree in nursing. But why is a profession? You know, when your parents are saying, "We're paying all this money for you already to be in the US. Are you kidding me? Why would I send you to a nursing, bachelor's degree again?" Well, you can tell mom and dad or relatives, whoever's sponsoring you, you will be making in the six figures within basically 3 years of being a regular nurse. That's not even with, if you don't specialize in any field, you're just a registered nurse for 3 years, you're very likely making in the six figures. So that when I say six figures, I mean $100,000. Depends on the state where you're working, but like Massachusetts, for example, we'll talk about this, you're making $110,000 within 3 years, average salary, which means you could make up to 150. It means maybe on the low end, you're making 75, 80. I mean, when I graduated college, maybe Sabrina, we can talk about this. I was making no money. Hector, when you graduated college, like I was making no money. I graduated with a bachelor's in psychology. Nothing. Like being a nurse is like, right, Sabrina? Hector,
Yeah.
it's good.
I was an anthropology major, and I think I mean I for most of my life I've not been making a lot of money. So yeah, this is awesome. I always joke with my sister, if I could, like, I would become a nurse, you
Yeah.
know? So
Yeah. Hector, you want to tell us your sob story about making no money as well after?
It was really bad. First job was an internship, 6 months after graduation, no pay at all. And then my first salary was 42,000 per year.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it's
it's
kind of like
half
my
and
first,
half of that
yeah,
amount.
my first salary, I was living in Brooklyn. I was a psych major. I got offered $32,000 per year as a full-time salary, and I was like ecstatic because I got insurance benefits and, I was like just so happy to have a full-time job. So the idea as a nurse that you're making kind of minimum, 80 grand basically or like 90K, it's very real. So the salary is great. I see. I'm glad. I'm seeing some questions come in. Awesome. Keep the questions coming. We'll have plenty of time. The second thing in addition to salary is also just to understand. I'm sure some of you are doing maybe your bio majors or health sciences, or you're doing like regular bachelors, or you're doing masters. If you want to be a doctor or a dentist or a vet or a lawyer in the United States, you know how much those cost. Or, if you want to go to business school, what is it, 100 grand per year? I mean, it's phenomenal, the amount of money. Nursing is expensive for 1 year, basically. It's essentially 1 year of your time and money, and then you get employed the moment you get your NCLEX. So that's the nursing licensure exam. It is a really smart degree. And, I'm sure you know this in your home countries, maybe nursing is not considered sexy. People think it's like a menial job, or, it's like, oh, people don't make a lot of money as a nurse. Well, whatever is your home country, we know there might be a stigma, or there is a stigma. In the United States, nurses are making bank. I know I'm using slang, but they're making a lot of money. They're making $250,000 5 years into their career, 10 years into their career. So nursing is not like a menial administrative job in the US. You're making great money, okay, in a fourth the time of a vet, a doctor, a dentist, or a lawyer, or a third of the time. And your immigration is basically, I don't want to say a done deal, because Sabrina would always say it's never a done deal. You never know what curveballs you'll get. But in terms of the process, you follow these steps here, that H-1B bridge until you can do the green card, which is the EB-3, you will be in good hands. There is a path for you. You are CAP exempt.
yeah,
Please
I was
tell
gonna ask
mom and
that.
dad you're CAP exempt. Actually, Sabrina, can we just go over that
Yeah,
one
I totally
more
forgot
time?
that. And then I was like, why didn't I talk about this?
Yeah,
It's super important. So, as you all know, I'm sure all your friends are talking about it. H-1B season's coming up, and most of everyone has to enter the lottery in order to even be able to apply. And the great thing about nursing, it's cap exempt. So you guys don't have to go through the whole lottery. So it's a really easy, wonderful way to like get work authorization and, be able to stay in the US for a long time if that's your goal. So a lot less stress. It's a done deal. You don't have to go in the lottery. So that's one of the major pluses, and less stress, which is great.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I am going to answer you. I'll make sure I say your name carefully. I really don't want to say it wrong. Omamoyovwi. I hope I got that right. I will answer you, I promise. You asked a great question, so don't worry, I'm not ignoring you. Um, Here's another advantage. This isn't as germane to you as an audience because you're already in the United States. So, like the option on the right, you probably are thinking, well, that doesn't really pertain to me, but it might pertain to some of your relatives or people that you know that are overseas right now. That also can apply for our program, which is, why would you want to study nursing in the US on a student visa when you could study nursing outside the US and still get an NCLEX? And the main reason is what Sabrina showed you before, is that CPT OPT. You start working day one when you get that NCLEX. So essentially, before you even have the H-1B work visa, you will be able to work at that job day one, the moment you get the NCLEX. You'll have it lined up. And guess what? We also help you with all of that completely free of charge. We have nursing experts on our team that will guide you every step of the way to that job free of charge. We have people that are practicing nurses and colleagues on this team. And actually, his name is Jason. He's the guru of nursing. Look at that punum. Look at that face. Jason is a great guy, really friendly, really sweet. He used to be the undergraduate program director at UVM. He's a practicing nurse right now. He's just awesome. He's on our team. We will help you free of charge to get that dream job. You do not work for us. You will work directly at the hospital, so that we're direct permanent placement. So that's another reason why I'm going to go back here. Being on a student visa, your credentials are American. You don't need to do a credential evaluation for your degree. You get working OPT right away, and you have a U.S. bachelor's degree in nursing. It is gold for an employer. Hospitals are literally throwing themselves at U.S. Bachelor of Nursing graduates. So you will have many different options, I promise, as long as you do well in your degree. Okay, so please feel free to tell your friends that are outside the U.S. as well why they would want to do a Bachelor of Nursing in the US. It's not only great for you to extend your OPT or renew your OPT in different ways, it gives your friends that are overseas or your relatives an option to do the exact same thing as you. It's just that they need a student visa, whereas you already have one. So what are our two options? And I promise, good questions. I see them coming in. We're going to get to that. I won't talk the whole time, promise. We have two Bachelor of Nursing programs right now. We have one in Massachusetts and one in Kansas. We will be expanding this list. We're adding New York and Florida probably shortly. So don't think these are the only options. These are just the only options right now, but we work with these two great Bachelor of Nursing programs, these two states. Let's look at what a sample accelerated Bachelor of Nursing looks like. So depending on your bachelor's degrees, and I see some of you are studying to be an RN at a community college, maybe you've done biology, you might be wondering, well, I haven't done this, or maybe I have done this. Here's the thing. Accelerated Bachelor of Nursing programs have been around for many years. They're just not as well advertised, and I'll tell you why. Because they require this. You need to do all of these prerequisites by the time you start this. That's the reason you're able to do an accelerated degree, because the university is assuming you have this. We cover all of this. So we have online classes you can take online at your own leisure. Just make sure you do it by the time you need to apply and transfer your CVIS, as Sabrina said before, and we'll work with you on that. You need to look at this list and say, hey, have I taken these classes in my undergraduate degree or prior in another degree? If you haven't, no worries. If you are a philosophy major on this call right now, you can still apply to this program. It's just that what I tell students is, the further you are away from a Bachelor of Nursing, the more likely you need to do all of these prerequisites before you start this. So that's the first thing we do in our Launchpad. We will assign you any prerequisite courses you need that you do not have. You do not need to have studied a nursing bachelor's degree or a nursing background. We will assign you prerequisites. The second thing that we will do is we will make you take NCLEX practice. It's called ATITs. It's kind of like an SAT for the NCLEX. What that does is it allows us to know, are you going to be successful in a nursing bachelor's degree? That's what it is. Okay. So it's not like an official test. It's more like a predictive test where we want to make sure you take that so we know that you can be successful in a hard program like this. It's fast. Okay. And it's intense. The third thing we do is what Sabrina covered before, is that you need to be admitted to a nursing bachelor's degree before we can transfer your CVIS record if you are in the United States right now. So this whole thing right here, we can't transfer your CVIS or your I-20, you know, that I-20 you have in the US, until you're admitted to a nursing bachelor's degree. We're going to guide you on all of that, how to get admitted, what you need, when you need it. The one thing you do need to know is this nursing CAS. Nursing CAS is kind of like common application for nursing programs. You will need to apply officially through nursing CAS. Don't worry, Jason, Sabrina, all of us are going to help you with this. It's just a little bit, tricky. You need to learn how to fill out all the forms, but don't worry. So, first step, prereqs, okay? We offer scholarships on these prerequisite courses, so the total cost would not be $7,000. We can bring it down usually to $4,000 or $5,000 depending on how many you need. If you only need a few, we still offer scholarships, so don't be intimidated by this cost, but you should be intimidated by this. So this is where you need to talk to mom and dad and grandma, grandpa, cousin Vinny, cousin Louie, your aunt, your uncle, your best friend, your frenemy, your made-up friend, anyone who has money that can sponsor essentially your 1 year to give you that ticket to your dream job. That's what we're talking about here. When you look at this slide, I really want you to kind of ignore everything except for the bottom row. And the bottom row is what you, mom and dad, and your entire community, whoever's going to help you pay for this, needs to be prepared for. And that is, here we go. After loan, after scholarships, I want you all to prepare for minimum $30,000 out of pocket, up to about $50,000 out of pocket. That means even if you get a good loan, even if you get a great scholarship, I don't want mom and dad or you or anyone thinking this is going to be totally covered by a loan or a scholarship. Unfortunately, you are not American citizens or green card holders, so you're not eligible for FAFSA loans. FAFSA government loans would typically cover entirely the cost and then you pay it back through your salary. As an international student, as you know, getting a loan is trickier. We will help you with it, but I don't want mom and dad and your community, whoever's supporting you, to think there won't be a cost up front. There will. So whether you go to Kansas, whether you go to Massachusetts, whether we give you a massive scholarship, whether you have a huge loan that you're able to obtain, I still want everyone to be prepared in your community for the cost. It's worth it. You can pay it in installments. You will pay semester by semester, but please don't think it's going to be covered. So I'm going to let that sink in. Sabrina, do you want to talk a little bit about I-20 funding relative to like out of pocket as well?
Yeah, and I just want to add, like, you guys probably already know this, that you need, even if everything is covered as your F1 students, you still need to have money to survive out in the US. So that's nothing new to you guys, I hope. But yeah, you guys know how it works. If you don't remember, basically before you get your I-20, what you get admitted, DSO will contact you, making sure, you have the proof of funds. So either your bank account, your family's bank account, whatever the situation is, or if you get a loan, show the loan agreement. And once that's confirmed and you register for classes, or not register, but just at least, show you have enough funds, then your I-20, your initial I-20 or transfer I-20 will be issued to you. So it's basically the same process. I like talking to you guys because you guys have already been through this. So you know how it goes. But yeah, basically every school is different. Some schools will make you show a certain amount, or another will show a different amount. It really just depends on what school you decide to go to.
Thanks, Sabrina. So really, there's only a few more slides, and then I want to get to your questions. We have plenty of time. We have Sabrina's time as well. I highly encourage you to ask her tough questions. She can handle it. And let's go to the good stuff. So after mom and dad not have a real heart attack, but have a figurative heart attack with the cost. You say, "You're asking me for more money? You kidding me? You're already in the US. I'm done with you kids." But after they say that and they're like, "Okay, how much is it going to cost?" After you go through your nursing degree, it takes basically 3 semesters or 4 at the max. Look at the salaries in Massachusetts and Kansas starting, and then this is really the good stuff after 3 years. These are average annual salaries in Massachusetts and Kansas for a regular registered nurse. It's really good money. So even if you have big loans, you're paying off those loans within 7 years. Most students pay off their loans, international students, within 7 years. So the salary is great. Mom and dad should not freak out. I have a very good friend of mine is a doctor. It took him 14 years to become a doctor, but with all his fellowship and schooling and everything, he's a partner at a firm. He's still paying off loans. Like nursing, okay, might take you 7 years to pay it off, 6 years. You're making good money. It's like a fourth of the time, or a third, and you have a great career ahead of you. So it's worth it. If mom and dad say, "Why would you do nursing? You should do veterinary school or doctor." I'm not saying don't pursue your dream of being a doctor. If you really want to be a doctor, be a doctor. You just need to know what you're getting into. You need to know about, cost benefit analysis. Are you prepared for $400,000 in tuition to be a doctor? Or are you okay to pay 50, 60 and get a similar salary, which a lot of people don't even realize that. It's crazy. All right, last thing, and then I'm going to dive into the questions. The two requirements for you all, because you all have the English level, you're in the US, is 3.0 cumulative GPA, and we just need a completed undergraduate degree or at least 2 years of undergraduate studies. You do not need to have a nursing background. You do not need to have a health sciences background. And this just sums up the process. Here we go. To start our prerequisites, we're only asking you for a $300 refundable deposit. It's not a fee. Hector, Sabrina, and I do not go and buy a Lamborghini Urus with your money. We'll give that back to you at the end of our program when you have your admission to your nursing school and we transfer your CVIS. Okay, and you can tell your friends if they're overseas, we don't take your money. We just want to show some commitment. And this sums it up. Okay, these are your steps. These are the 5 steps. Pay your deposit. Then we assign you prerequisites and we can give you scholarships. You can pay those in installments. Then you get admission to your nursing program. Then you enroll in your nursing bachelor's degree with a total out of pocket at 30 to 50K. And then we're going to help you get a job. We do all of this without charging you ourselves. We will never charge you personally. We're never taking any of your money. The prerequisite courses, we do send you an invoice. Technically, you're paying us, I promise, and not touching that money at all. We send it to an online university called Portage University. You'll be enrolling with them directly. You'll be able to see. It's not through us. So, last but not least, Hector, do you mind putting in the chat for everyone the application link for the Inside the US applicants, please? And I have put a QR code. When you see this QR code, it should say Inside the US. That's the category for all of you. Please, please, please apply. It's going to be part of my response to some of you who have asked me questions and have asked us questions. And let's begin talking to you. Exciting. So here we go. So presentation's done. No more PowerPoint. I'm going to get your name right. Here we go. I did it before. Omama Yovwi. Omama Yovwi. I got it. Here we go. Great. So you're getting your RN, but you're enrolled at a community college. Very interesting. So you are doing what we would call an ADN, an associate's diploma in nursing, I think.
Or could be bachelor's.
True, right? At a community college, which then would bridge into a bachelor's program, right? I think what you can do is, if you're on track, if you don't mind, if you could apply, you might want to transfer your credit into one of our nursing bachelor's degrees and see that as a better option. so that we can make sure that you don't have to transfer again. Because you're at a community college, you're going to have to transfer anyway. Why not transfer as a part of the admissions process and we can get you enrolled? Our partner in Kansas accepts students without a full bachelor's degree.
And you probably did
So,
most of the prerequisites, I'm guessing, since you're
yeah,
already uh enrolled in that. But if it is a bachelor's program and you're about to graduate, we can still place you at a hospital. So either way,
yeah.
we can help.
Yeah, and I think I see community college. Why don't you apply, please, using the link that Hector put in the chat? We'll assess your like where you are with your transcripts and then see what's available. If you have at least 2 years, you can apply to Kansas. If you have a bachelor's degree already, you can apply to Massachusetts. But we'll help you with all that. Good question.
And I forgot to kind of mention this, but with H-1B, you do have to, be specialized and AKA have a bachelor's degree for it to work. That's the only way it works, bachelor's degree or above. So that's why we say, like, if you're doing an associate's right now, get your bachelor's and then get an H-1B visa, and it'll pay for itself. And you won't have to wait years to get work authorization or, whatever the case is. So
Yeah, and Nelly, hi, awesome. Nelly's graduating in ABSN this December.
yes,
Beautiful.
love
You
that.
know what's great about that, Nelly, is you can ignore basically everything we just said about education and the cost. Sorry, not everyone can ignore it. And we can work with you for free to get you a job. So, so basically, you've already done what we do, and you're in the US, right? I'm assuming, Nelly, I can also let you off mute, Nelly, if you'd like, and just tell us if you could tell us a little bit more about your degree. Actually, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put you on the spot. Sorry, Nelly. I like putting people on the spot a little bit. Can you just tell us which school you're attending, Nelly? Here we go. I'm allowing you to talk.
I'm attending West Liberty University in West Virginia.
Great. All
Yeah.
right. Awesome. So, Nelly, you wouldn't need a Bachelor of Nursing. You might want us to help you with job placement services. We don't charge a deposit for that. The deposit, the launch pad, the prerequisites, that is only if students want to pursue a Bachelor of Nursing. If you're interested, I don't know, Hector, if you don't mind, in our system, are you able to send, we're going to confuse people, but Nelly, we can send you a different link to a different application that we have a registered nurse persona. It's okay if you just, you know what, if you could just apply, Nelly, for free, our application is free. We'll put you in the right kind of level, but we do free job placement services, Nelly.
We actually just placed the H-1B process, like everyone crossed their fingers because we did premium processing, so it should be done soon. But we just placed a nurse who finished her program. She was an OPT, so she was using that. And then her time was up and she wasn't working at a nonprofit, so she couldn't get H-1B. So then we placed her at a new hospital. And if you haven't used your OPTX, it sounds like you're going to be graduating, then during your OPT period or for your OPT period, we would place you at the hospital. And then during that 1 year, we'll do the H-1B process. And that gives us just like some time to get it done, which is nice. But yeah, you're set up, you're good to go.
Yeah. So Nelly, please apply.
Graduate.
We can guide you either educationally or professionally, essentially.
Yeah.
Please apply. It's free.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for joining. Hi, Quay. Awesome. Quay, I know this question and it's a good one. So getting a loan may affect chances to get F1 visa students from Vietnam. And that's something, we'll discuss. We'd like to make the options as loan free as possible. So when I show you those prices, if I'm going back to that page, that's why I say after loan, after scholarship. Ideally, students are not taking out loans. If we can get these costs down to 50,000, 30,000 after scholarship, I agree. I don't want you all dealing with loans. We don't want that. We don't want you to have to take out a loan if we could avoid it. So if we can get you the best scholarship package, we will advocate for you. But I still want parents and everyone to prepare. And
Yeah.
Sabrina, yeah.
I haven't heard about that it's hard to get an F1 visa. But I mean, every country is different. Like if you're in one country, you might be like, oh no, we have to wait like a year to get a visa interview. Another one's really easy process. So I'm not surprised at the same time. But I'm going to look more into that. So thanks for letting us know.
Yeah, and Sabrina as well in another life and in current life, Sabrina's a DSO as well. She's got everything. She's armed with all the, everything, all the tools to guide you all on getting your F1 visa. Emanuela, good question. Ooh, interesting. Sabrina, Emanuela asked, can a nurse outside the US on a tourist visa apply?
So
Outside
I
the
don't know
US.
yeah, I don't know if you mean like you're outside of the US, but you have a tourist visa either, or if that's the case, then yeah, you would just apply abroad via, a normal consulate. You go to your F1 visa, basically everything we just talked about, except you'd have to go to the visa interview for your F1 visa, and obviously we would help you with that. But if you're already in the US on a tourist visa, it is like on a B2, I'm assuming you're referring to, then it is possible to change your status to F1, which actually a lot of people have been doing. If you got laid off and you have H1B, like one of those big tech layoffs, what a lot of people would do is go to a B2 to have a little extra time and then go to like a different status, like F1, whatever the case is, or H1B if they were lucky. But it's possible. So if you just apply via the link, then after, you talk to Jason and Jackie, like our nurse experts, nursing experts, then they will send you to me, for an immigration, just catch up, a little meeting to discuss your situation. And, you can ask all the questions you want one-on-one.
Thanks, Sabrina.
I hope that answers your
Emanuela,
question.
yeah,
Let me
Emanuela,
know if that's not the situation.
yeah, great.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you can talk to us free of charge as well. We don't we
I
don't charge
understand.
for.
Yeah, and I understand if you're like from a country, I'm not sure where you're from. If you're from a country where it is very difficult to get F1 visa, then I understand why you'd want to do it if you're already here on a B2. So yeah, we'll just talk.
Yeah, please apply, Emanuela. It's free, and then you can meet with Sabrina. We call it Sabrina's Corner in our organization, where people meet with Sabrina and they get all sorts of great guidance. Okay, yeah, Quay, I promise we're going to get some good scholarships. We're working hard on that. I agree. We want to make this affordable. We don't want this to be prohibitively expensive, but it
Yeah.
still will be it'll be an expense, that's for sure.
And we're trying to find a lot of different universities. So there are like, you can choose like, I want MGH, I'm MGH or bus, then you can go there. But we want you guys have some options as well to, choose a nursing school that's best for your situation. And the one that you like, the program you like the best, is that's the most important. They're
Yep.
gonna like it, so.
James, you raised your hand by accident. So excited. We love it. Do you have any questions? Does anyone else have any other questions? I don't see any others. Please feel free. I can take you off mute if you want. Just let me know. We still have about 15 minutes. Time is all yours.
And I'm dropping my email here for everyone. So, if you do have any questions, just email me.
Thanks, Sabrina. We have a general healthcare email as well. That goes to Hector and me. We'll respond with our personal emails. It's just so that we can keep track. We're all here for you. Any other questions? Anyone?
Going one?
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great question. You see that, Sabrina?
Yeah. So basically explain the H1B lottery process. And yeah, so you understood correctly. So basically, as you know, like say, I'm just using this example because it's mostly tech people that enter the lottery. But if your friend studied, computer science and they're applying they got a job for OPT as like a software development engineer, the OPT is almost up, then they need to be applying for the lottery every year, because the lottery essentially is trying to make the process fair. I just put little air quotes because, it's a little bit of a mess. You have to enter the lottery, and only, I think last year, only like about 25% got chosen. Hopefully it's better this year, but it's a mess. And I know people haven't been chosen for like 6 or 7 years. Insane. Just very unlucky. But since nursing is a cap exempt, it's considered cap exempt because you're going to be working at hospitals that are nonprofit and that are affiliated with the university. So that's the key. So like basically every hospital in the US is nonprofit because they don't make much profit. So it makes sense. And if you work for a nonprofit, even if you're not a nurse, if you're a different, major, you can still apply for H1B without the lottery. as long as the organization you're working for qualifies as like that nonprofit with their research affiliation. And usually every hospital has a university they're affiliated with. So that's kind of the runaround about the cap exempt. Does that make sense?
Thanks, Sabrina. Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. And Quay is attending in like the middle of the night in Vietnam. So thank you on the
Oh,
very
wow.
early morning.
Joining us. We love that.
Thank you. Any other questions? Good ones? Sabrina, can you talk about if people have dependents, when they can work?
Sure. So if you are in the US, you're an F1, student. If you have children or a spouse, they're probably on an F2 visa, I'm assuming. So basically they would still be on a dependent visa for H1B. They would just get an H4 visa and they would apply at the same time. One key thing is, even if you're not going to go through this process, I highly recommend that everyone that's an immigrant in the US has a savings account and just put a little bit of money every month just so you have it, because sometimes employers, depending on the hospital, but I'm going to guess, they don't make, the hospitals aren't, for profit. So I'm guessing that they're going to make you pay for your dependents when you apply for H4. So just be cognizant of that. It probably costs around $1,000 with the filing fee and with the legal fees. So it's actually not too bad. But, keep that in mind if you do have children or a spouse that you'd like to bring with you, even if they're abroad. I recommend for the filing that they come to the US if they already have the F2 visa, so they can file. At least if they want to go home and keep working, they can do that, but they'll have the H4. So whenever they want to come and visit or come back, they can. The key to this is like H4, usually technically they can't work unless the main, visa holder would, F1 visa holder, H1B visa holder, has a approved I-140, which is the first step in the green card process. It essentially gives you a place in line and tells you when you're allowed to apply for a green card. So as long as they filed an I-140, then your dependents are allowed to apply for work authorization, which is just an EAD application. But until the I-140 is filed, your dependents cannot work. And that's just like putting it out there. So we're totally transparent. And the hospitals we're talking to, we haven't decided yet, but usually they were throwing around, 6 months to a year to wait to file the I-140, which is totally reasonable because they're already investing, a lot of money in you to get your work authorization. And they just want to make sure, you're doing a good job. And I always tell everyone, keep your head down and do really good work and make yourself indispensable, so they don't even have to question whether or not they want to sponsor you for your green card. So yeah, that's kind of the short answer. It could be longer.
That that is a really important, thank you. It
Yeah.
is really important for everyone to digest that. I get often asked, uh, can my spouse work while I'm on an F1 student visa, which you all are, or presumably are here on behalf of someone who is. Spouses cannot work as an F2 dependent. Spouses cannot work as an H dependent until what Sabrina said, that I-140 is. Sabrina, is it filed, you said?
Approved, but usually it depends. That's why I say start a savings account for immigration if this is like your long-term goal is to stay here. Because you can apply normal processing for an I-140, but it might take months. So it really might take like 6, 7, even like up to a year. Like you never know with USCIS, like their processing times are a little bit crazy right now, but you always have the option to apply with premium processing, which cuts down that time to about 14 days. And sometimes employers don't want to pay for that. So just make sure you're allowed to pay for it if you really want. So if you're like, oh, I have a husband or a wife and they really want to start working and they're about to file my I-140, then you have the choice of whether or not you want to invest that money for them to be able to work faster. And in my opinion, if it's like that and they already have a job lined up, it's worth it because then you can start working and making money. But this is all personal decisions. So when that time comes, I can have a conversation with all of you, but that's why it's good just to have some money set aside, or, someone to pay for you would be nice.
Thank
Yeah.
you. This is the kind of advice you get for free, folks. So we're here for you. And literally, Sabrina we have a whole queue where we'll make sure we look after you. You just wait to talk to Sabrina, and she has like no limit on the number of times she'll talk to you. She's
Yeah.
really approachable, easy to talk to. You don't have to pay. Typically, I'm just being honest, you'd have to pay a lot of money to lawyers, for the kind of guidance that Sabrina is giving for free. And we really care that you get the best guidance. So we're lucky to have Sabrina, and I hope that you utilize it, and I hope that you apply. Don't worry, we don't
I
cost
love
them to
talking to all
apply.
of you. So yeah, don't feel shy.
Agreed. All right, we have 7 more minutes. Any more questions? Anyone else? I will just tell you that we are looking at some nursing programs that are 4 semesters in length, not 3. So when I said 16 months, it's either 12 or 16. The difference would not be in cost, it would just be in length. So if we're looking at a 16-month nursing program, we are looking at some cheaper options. I'd like to have a nursing program where the tuition is $35,000 before scholarship. So maybe we can get that cost down to 20 after scholarships and loans. I still don't want to promise anything. It's likely that, I don't want to promise, but we're working on it. We know that. We know mom and dad and your relatives are paying a lot, and you, to be in the US. Any questions? No? Anyone else? Going once, going twice. Sold. All right. So we really appreciate your time. We're so appreciative that you attended. And if you attended late, don't sweat it. We'll be sending this out. I see Daniel we have a Daniel, you just joined a little bit late, but we are going to send this recording to all of you. So you can share this with your friends, family, if you missed it. If anyone that you know missed it, remember, this is for an F1 student visa holder audience. So it's for you. It's for people that you know might be an F1 student visa holder. It's for relatives that maybe are thinking about studying in the US or friends. We're here to guide you from a US perspective, but we also have a whole part of our operation which is devoted to anyone outside the US that needs an F1 student visa. So Sabrina is not only an expert on immigration, she's an expert on the whole F1 student visa process. She's a licensed DSO. She's done all of this.
DSO, yeah, for
Yeah,
4 years
so
actually. So
yeah, she can
started.
help you. She's going to help you with all this stuff, how to get the visa. And then Hector, oh yeah, Hector, beautiful. Please share us on Instagram. Please follow us. Please like us. Not to sound desperate and pathetic. It's because this is really exciting. We'll soon have 1,000 followers. It's catching on. We want you to get the most up-to-date information. We want you to attend our webinars as many times as you like. We want you to share with your friends and family and anyone who you think we would be useful information to. And we're free. We're not charging you anything. We're just going to guide you on the system. We want you all to get a great job and make great money. We want you to be here. The whole idea is that you get here as quickly as possible to get the average annual salary. So, such a lovely time talking to you. Sabrina, you want to say anything? And we'll pass it to Hector.
Yeah. Yeah, basically everything that Eric said. And like we are a company with, we all have our immigrant story. Like my parents are immigrants. Everyone has their immigrant story on the team. So we really do care about you. Obviously our clients, but our number one focus is also our candidates. So you're in good hands, and we want to make a safe place for you to be able to discuss whatever you want. So please, feel free to do that. This is a safe place. But yeah, thank you for coming. It was so nice talking to all of you.
Thanks, Sabrina. Hector, any closing remarks?
Yes, thank you so much again. And like Sabrina said, we went through this journey at some point. I moved to the US in 2008, and I went through the same journey as well. So happy to connect if you need anything.
Awesome.
And absolutely, thanks, Hector. And I would say my grandparents went through this journey. I'm from New Jersey,
You've
originally.
been all around the world though. You've been to like the country. So you're very
No, I get it. We love you. We love United States is a country of immigrants. We're all immigrants. Don't forget that. There's no one There's no one American. That's the beauty of the US. Make sure you tell all your friends and family the American dream is not dead. Don't let cynical people tell you that. It's very much alive, and this country is for everyone. So we're so
Once you put
happy
your
that
mind to it, you can do it, you know?
yeah, we're so happy you joined us, and we hope that you feel inspired. And please share this with as many people as you'd like. And we're going to share the recording and the application link after this. So don't worry. You know, for example, Daniel, if you join late, it's all good. I'll send this to everyone, and we wish you all the best. And we hope we hear from you. We hope you apply. It's free. All you risk is your pride. Don't sweat it. Just apply. We want to meet you.
Awesome.
Right. All right. Well, have a great rest of your week and weekend. Don't party too hard. Okay. Relax. Take it easy. All right.
Have fun.
Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll talk
Bye.
soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.